So this is the drive in from the airport bus, in from the airport on the airport bus.
Se no domani mattina facciamo. Domani mattina non ci sarà.
There's some relative high rises, look like 10 stories or so.
Sure.
Anyway, that's our airport bus. Okay, here we are at the Quattro Canti. That's corner number 1. I wish that girl would be quiet. Corner number 2. Corner number 3. Okay, so this is our second day in Palermo. We were at the magnificent Palermo Archaeological Museum. I'm not going to do a lot of video here because I'm taking lots and lots of stills so I can examine some of these materials in greater detail. But there's some wonderful sarcophagi here. Even better than the ones they had at Pisa, that's for darn sure. 2nd century sarcophagi. Here's a really beautiful one. From about the year 170. This, by the way, was once a monastery, this museum. That's a bust to the founder of the museum, Antonio Salinas. And of course, here are the famous turtles. Let's see how close we can get to them before they take off. Hello, Mr. Turtle. Okay, so these are the fragments of the temple at Selinunte, which these were closed to the public when we were here in 2011, much to our disappointment. It's kind of a reproduction. There's not too much originality stuff on that. I'm assuming these lions are more or less original, but you never know. You never really know what you're looking at. Over here, they've attempted to recreate what they think it might have looked like with the painting. You will want to stop the video to read this. Now I stand corrected. These lions are from the temple at Himera, which is the site of the great Greek victory over the Carthaginians in 480. But then later on the Carthaginians took their revenge 100 years later by utterly destroying the city of Himera. I don't know how many of these lions are real and how many are cast, but they appear to be, some of them at least appear to be the real deal. Well, according to this, these are the actual heads from Chimera. And there's what the temple will look like with the lion's heads up top. All right, here are some Roman lamps, just like the ones I have. From Selinante. And some coins. Obviously, there was a Roman city constructed there after many years after the destruction of the temple by the Carthaginians. I take that back. I think the Carthaginians killed all the people but kept the temples, and the temples were knocked over by earthquakes. Beautiful, beautiful statues from the 4th, 3rd century BC. Look at these. These are all part of grave goods. Okay, so this is the room with the famous metopes of Selinante, which Mary Jane and I were dismayed to find out back in 2011 we couldn't get in here. I've taken stills of all of these. But from left to right, there's Apollo on his chariot. Over here is Perseus. Let me move. This is Perseus destroying the Medusa. And Pegasus is being born. I never remembered that part of the myth. And there's Athena looking on. And this is Hercules punishing 2 thieves, hanging them upon a pole. Over here we have Hercules versus an Amazon. And here we have Zeus and Hera. She's saying, man, I wish you'd stop going down to earth and getting it on with all those mortal girls. I mean, come on now. I'm really not beautiful enough for you. This is the myth of Actaeon, who saw the goddess Artemis. Innocently enough, he was hunting somewhere, saw her naked by a pool, and she turned him into a stag. And then the stag was attacked and killed by his hunting dogs. But here, he's just, in this version of the myth, he doesn't look much like a stag. He's just a man being attacked by his hunting dogs. The part about the stag comes from Ovid. I'm not sure. Just don't know. There must be versions of the myth. There are plenty of versions of plenty of myths. And this is Athena killing the giant Enceladus. Into something as us. Don't know that particular myth. One parting shot of the metopes. Now we're going to go look at the little metopes. So here are the little metopes. And we probably need to stop the video to read this. Well, this time it looks like the upstairs is closed. Last time I couldn't see the metopes. This time I can't see the stuff upstairs. Oh well. I got to see the metopes. It's all about the metopes. Yeah, like I said, the upstairs is closed. I seem to remember this place being a whole lot bigger, so there must be some collections upstairs that we can't see. But that's okay. I got to see the metopes. It's worth my €6, I suppose. Here are various and sundry statues found around. The one I just went by is a 30 AD Roman. Let's check this one out. This is a statue of the famous Marcus Aurelius, although they had to replace the modern head. A lot of these statues, there's bits and pieces have been replaced. I take that back. The statue dates to 40 AD. The head, of course, Marcus Aurelius was much later. And that's a 1820 head. Not a bad job, though. And this is Agrippina the Elder from about 40-ish AD. Restored in 1820. Okay, here we are at the cathedral. I think I have video of this, so I'm not going to unduly videoize this time. We're here, we're going to go in and see, pay homage to Federico II, Re di Sicilia, and Holy Roman Emperor, King of Jerusalem. Okay, so here's the tomb of one of my all-time heroes, Federico II, Holy Roman Emperor, King of Sicily, Jerusalem, and Anjou, I think. Anyway, I have followed Frederick all around. I first met him here in 2011. I saw this tomb and I'm going, what is up with that? And then the more I learned about this guy, the more I came to respect him. He's up in there. Known to the Germans as Friedrich der Zweite. His father was Henry VI. He hated the popes, and the popes hated him. He was a military commander, although not a particularly good one. Not bad. But certainly not a brilliant commander. He did win one brilliant victory over Milan. But he was defeated at Parma because he and his barons went out on a hunting party. And the knights of Parma stormed out and destroyed his camp, which was he had named it Vittoria. So it just shows you, don't count your chickens before they hatch in war. Now maybe you can hear in the background they're playing a recording of Mozart's Lacrimosa. This gorgeous piece of work is the sarcophagus of Roger II, the last and greatest, not the last, but certainly the greatest Norman king of Sicily, and the grandfather of Costanza, who was Federico's mother and Henry VI's wife. Look at this gorgeous work on here. Rest in peace. Died in MC 1154. This is the grave of Constance, and judging from the date, there were several Constances. This one, the date of her death is 1198. Oh, so this would be Federico's mother. And what a mother she was, my God. She was the original Tiger Mom. The original. Okay, so I had to change cards, and this is the grave of Henry VI, Federico's father, who was down here being crowned King of Sicily when Costanza gave birth to Frederick at Jesi. Henry VI was reputedly a rather, shall we say, tough king, and he was the Holy Roman Emperor. He's the one who put Richard the Lionheart in prison and held him for ransom, and with the proceeds of the ransom he came down here to Sicily and reclaimed the rulership of Sicily, which, although he was a Hohenstaufen, his wife Constance was of course the granddaughter of Roger II. The popes hated him too. They hated the Hohenstaufens. And over here is a little movie about the Hohenstaufens, I assume. And of course that's Mozart. And here's the history of my hero, Federico. This is interesting. They have the Normans in Italy, right? So I've taken pictures of all those. But Federico gets his own board. I don't know if
wirklich also versucht ganz strikt zu machen mit Kameras eben, wie man das auch vielleicht bei Grabungen macht, wenn man mal hineinschaut und dann kann man interdisziplinär arbeiten. Heute kann man die DNA eben auch versuchen zu bringen, man hat Immuter, man weiß nicht.
Okay, here we are in the fabulous Norman Palace. But unfortunately, This seems to be the fashion today. Parts of it are closed off to visitors. But the main reason to be here is the Palatine Chapel. This is probably the last time I'll see it in my life, so I'm going to enjoy it. This is probably the most beautiful place in Palermo. Okay, this is the Palatine Chapel. These mosaics go back to about 1140. Now notice the ceiling, the Islamic influence on the ceiling. They look like stalactites or stalagmites. I can never remember what's up and what's down. Okay. Now here's St. Peter and Paul on this side. Okay, so on the right is the baptism of Paul. And I guess over here, oh yeah, here's Saul. Evil Saul, who turns into the good Paul. So there's Jesus saying, "Why are you persecuting me, Saul?" And he's sending down a ray of light, which blinds Saul. And then in the next panel, he's being baptized by Ananias and having his sight restored. Now here's St. Peter talking to St. Paul, but on the right is King Nero talking to Simon. I don't know that historical event. Here's Peter and Paul again. And there's Paul disputing with, I forget who. Was that Philippi? Anyway, on the right, there he's being let out in a basket, out of the town in a basket. Okay, so there's Eve coming out of Adam.
There's two animals and two animals.
And then here's the Garden of Eden. And over here is God breathing the soul into Adam. So I was going backwards. This is the creation cycle. God creating the universe. Over there he's separating the lands from the rivers. I'm not exactly sure, because it looks like he's creating the rivers there. In any case, here he's creating the birds and the beasts, creating the sun and the moon. Ah, there's the birds and the beasts. So before, it wasn't birds and beasts. Over here he's separating the water from the land. And then he's breathing life, the soul, into Adam. Okay, so over here, there's Adam and Eve being tempted by the serpent, and they're pulling the fruit off the tree. Here they're ashamed. There's the serpent being banished. God talking to Adam and Eve. And then he closed them. And there's the seraphim or cherubim, whatever, guarding the Garden of Eden. And they're sent out in the world. Now again, these mosaics were done 1,000 years ago in the 1140s. Adam and Eve working for a living. And that would appear to be on the right, the offerings of Cain and Abel, because the next panel is the murder. Here Cain is murdering Abel. I'm not sure what that is, but I think it's maybe, I don't know. It almost has to be. I don't know. I gotta read the inscription later, but in any case, here is Isaiah. This is Noah. And over here, Noah is building the ark. And here's a really good view of this ceiling. Back down to the ark. So the long and short of it is, on this side of the chapel is basically the life of St. Peter. And over here, we've already looked at these. Is the history of St. Paul, who, of course, is our hero. Over here we have Jesus on Palm Sunday. I better brighten that up a little bit. Up there is the baptism of Jesus.
Two people that are playing chess, for example, in this part.
The Transfiguration.
No, I don't have the image of this. Here, for example, we have two.
Now over here, we have the flight into Egypt. And there's the angel telling Joseph, you need to skedaddle. Okay, so there's the Nativity. And here is Christ, the Savior. Very Byzantine-looking representation. Now, if we go up here, what do we have? Looks like we have a king, I wonder if that's King Roger. Unfortunately, we can't go in far enough to get all this. Actually, I can't get under that dome. But there's another representation of Jesus. And then below that, looks like a bunch of angels. I'm not sure who they are.
That is very similar to the activity that we have in the Immaculata. In this part of the church, we have an mosaic that represents life.
These are evidently various saints.
Now I suggest you see.
You can get a sense of the whole thing. I mean, this thing is just amazing. It's really one of the most amazing works of art in Italy. And Italy is jam-packed with amazing works of art. Of course, since it's mosaics, all these pieces were fired. They haven't lost color with time. Here's just some of the mosaic work on, which is where I'm guessing the choir would be, because it looks like there's some chant, there's some music up there. Of course, that music, that book does not go back to 1100s. That's much later. Here we have the high altar. Now, I'm no expert in art, but that female figure appears to be several hundred years after. It just doesn't look like it doesn't look like the 13th century to me. But then what do I know? I'm guessing that's the Garden of Eden over there. But oh, look, more Old Testament stories. There's Jacob's ladder. There he is. There's Jacob wrestling with the angel. And here are Jacob and Esau. And it's funny because when I was looking at these other stories, like Cain and Abel, I was so busy looking at Cain and Abel, I missed Jacob and Esau right below. So that's the story of Rebecca. That's Abraham sacrificing Isaac and talking to the Lord. It looks like a burning city. It must be Sodom and Gomorrah, I'm just guessing. Okay, so there's this is on the right side of the high altar. So there's Noah in the ark. The animals, people leaving the ark. That's the story of Noah's nakedness. And look, they're cultivating grapes up there. And here is the building of the Tower of Babel. And that's Abraham and the three angels. That must be the story of Lot, because it was on the other side of the church where we saw the burning of Sodom and Gomorrah. So those are the people coming in and demanding have some fun with Lot's sons and daughters. I don't remember if it was sons or daughters or both. So I almost forgot this fabulous candelabra.
Andiamo al XII secolo, poi nel il 1130, quando
alle investiture nel nord Italia.
poi invece c'era questo i movimenti successi,
This sculpture is relatively crude compared to the mosaics, which are very sophisticated.